Welcome to the Beautifully Broken podcast. I'm your host, Freddie Kimmel, and on this show we explore the survivor's journey, practitioners making a difference, and the therapeutic treatments and transformational technology that allow the body to heal itself. Witness the inspiration we gain by navigating the human experience with grace, humility, and a healthy dose of mistakes. Because part of being human is being beautifully broken. Hi, how are you doing? I'm so glad you turned in today and decided to listen, because this podcast is for you. And I have a special ask for you. If you're taking the time to download this episode, listen, find value, nothing helps listenership, the message, continue to be spread and grow like wildfire, like you sharing, downloading, and leaving a review. Now, this podcast is on Spotify, it's on YouTube, and it's on Apple Podcasts. Other channels, but those are the three big listening platforms. And if you've never given a review, I appreciate you for doing so today. If you've never shared it with a friend, I appreciate you for doing so today. If you've never left a comment somewhere like on YouTube, I appreciate you for doing that today. It really does fill my heart to see engagement and to see where the rubber meets the road. How did this work for you? What's your pain point? What do you need more of? I love it, and I welcome it, and I invite it. Now let's get into the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Beautifully Broken podcast. I'm so honored to be with you here this morning. I want to talk about why I've stopped, for the most part, saying I'm sorry. So in my experience, everything is a miracle or nothing is. This perspective has reshaped how I navigate my interactions and relationships, especially concerning the word sorry. The phrase I'm sorry is often used as a reflex. It's this habitual utterance that it almost springs forth in moments of discomfort, inconvenience, or perceived wrongdoing. Perceived is the key word there. If you can spot check this in your own daily life and keep a running tally of how many times you use the word I'm sorry in a 24-hour period, you'd be shocked. I'm always amazed when I ask friends to consider their usage and it tops 30, 40, 50 times a day. Remember, the brain is running on a majority of its processing power on the subconscious. And the program or the default mode is very powerful. And while it's essential to acknowledge when we've genuinely hurt someone, overusing I'm sorry can dilute its meaning, its impact. More importantly, it can inadvertently reinforce the idea that suffering and pain are to be avoided at all costs, or that you're small or insignificant or undeserving of the space. Stop apologizing for being you. That's my ask. My female high-performance coaches often reflect on how frequently women overuse the phrase, as opposed to their male counterparts. I'm sorry for simply existing in space, sitting down at a table, choosing the wrong chair, making a noise with a coffee cup, or speaking out of turn. It's really interesting to examine this and just witness. So I've always looked at suffering as medicine for growth. So in my journey, I've come to view suffering not as a punishment, but as a potent catalyst for growth. It doesn't mean that I like it or I love it, but it's how I view the energy behind the action. Each challenge, each moment of pain holds within it the potential seeds for transformation. So these excessive sorries might unintentionally communicate that these experiences are solely negative, sometimes to be shunned rather than embraced. For instance, I will often say, cancer is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Without it, the riches, the gold-like opportunities to empower and educate, to better know my body, they would not be here. This thirst for understanding of the human bioterrain, because I needed to, because I had to, they would never have been called in. So as harsh as that context sounds, I don't want your sorries for my pain. I love my chemo. I love my retroperitoneal lymph node dissection. I love my 5 surgeries and the time spent in deep fatigue. So it's this context and coloring that allows for a depth of gratitude for today's coffee, this one right here, that you're never going to know. Each bowel movement is, I'm serious. Each bowel movement is a gentle walk meandering in heaven. It's incredible. Every sunset gives me the appreciation of peaking on Mount Everest. So for me, and I want to repeat for me, believing that everything is a miracle means recognizing that every experience, both joyful and painful and heartbreaking, have deep intrinsic value. When we say, I'm sorry too often, we may be subtly suggesting that difficult moments are devoid of this miraculous quality. And instead, I've learned to honor these experiences, understanding they are essential parts of the human journey. And I don't want to wish away parts of the journey. It's way too short already. So let's talk about how this can happen and actually rob others of their growth. When we apologize excessively, it's possible to rob other people of their opportunity to confront and grow from their suffering. Does that make sense? It's possible I'm sorry is this subtle cue that allows your friend to submit to the victim position. I'm sorry, that's right. I'm sorry this is happening to me. It is an unfair world. I am getting shit on. I want to give you some examples just to feel into this to make my point. Am I sorry your relationship failed? Or am I proud you broke the chains in your third partnership with abusive tendencies and now don't live with a narcissist? Am I sorry about the partial Achilles tendon sprain? Or am I hopeful you see marathon running on 5 hours of sleep, pushing through fatigue on 4 cups of coffee? Maybe that allows you to rethink the longevity aspects of your fitness concepts. And finally, am I sorry you lost your job you hated? Or I am hopeful. Am I hopeful that you will find employment that truly fills your soul and partner with a company that understands the value you bring to the workplace? I know it is a delicate balance between empathy and empowerment. And all I'm saying is, by not immediately defaulting to I'm sorry, we allow others the space, that space between stimulus and response, that space to experience their pain fully, to process it, and ultimately transform through the pain with the integration into their new world view. So instead of saying, I'm sorry, I now strive to express understanding and support and encouragement and empower that human being. Phrases like, I understand this is difficult. I am here for you. I join with you in this painful moment. I want you to know that I love you. So let's do some real talk. Interestingly enough, I had recorded this podcast a few days ago, and over the weekend, I had some really bad news. A really good friend lost her husband quite suddenly. And I simply reached out in a message on her social media, and I said, I can see what you're going through is devastating. And I want you to know I love you. And I am here in whatever capacity to help you process your pain. I love you. And that's all I said. I am not sorry for her being a human being and experiencing the things that we will all experience, the highs and the low and the grief and the pain. Death is something we will all deal with, although it's not talked about or embraced in our society as part of life. I had another friend who had went in for his follow-up scan after a late-stage cancer diagnosis, and it was not the scan he wanted to receive. And I simply called and said, brother, I love you so much. I understand this is not the news you wanted. And if it were me, I can only imagine the grief and sadness and anger I would be feeling today. But I want you to know you have my fullest attention. All resources that I have are yours. Let me know what I can do. And I stand with you in this pain. I join with you in this human experience. And that felt right to me. I think we're so lucky to witness the growth in others. And even though these are, these devastating, painful moments, this feels like the right way for me to handle it. The phrases above, they convey empathy without undermining the value, the medicine of the experience. And that, for me, rings true. It's the subtle shift in language that not only respects the person's journey, but also reinforces the idea that every moment, every challenge is a step towards greater growth, understanding, and a miracle. This is not dissimilar from a homeostatic stressor within the body. I've got some 12-pound weights over there that will never grow my biceps. It's when I push the weight beyond my capacity to generate 6 to 7 full curls, in which week after week stimulates a response in which my nervous system chooses to build bigger, stronger muscles to achieve the work necessary to do whatever, to lift a car off a human being in a crisis situation, to pull myself on a rope out of a burning building, or to carry the groceries home. I'm training through the process of entrainment. I'm training for life. And so I think this is a really important topic to examine and explore for you. I think it's smart to be emotionally fit. How we interrelate to the outside world without submitting to the victim position, I think makes us really strong leaders. And if I look around and I really do an honest gut check, I think what we need right now is strong leaders. So in a world where everything is a miracle or nothing is, I've chosen to see the miraculous in every experience. And by reframing how I say and when I say I'm sorry, I honor the profound growth that comes from suffering and allowing others to do the same in that space. This change has deepened my connections. It's fostered a greater sense of resilience and appreciation for the intricate tapestries of life. Oh, it's so dynamic. I always say life is the ultimate simulation. It just keeps coming, and you can go as deep and far and wide as you want if you're willing to open your heart and be vulnerable. And for me, that has opened the reality to a better quality of life on the planet. I hope you will explore this and examine it and see the concept and see if it benefits you in a similar fashion. I love you so much. This is the Beautifully Broken podcast. Big love. Ladies and gentlemen, new product alert. Silver Biotics is introducing their next generation of muscle relief cream. So whether you're an athlete, a weekend warrior, or you're just trying to make it through the day like myself, the new product Recover is formulated with powerful, clean ingredients like their new technology, their 20 parts per million patented silver solution, arnica, jojoba oil, menthol, magnesium, and hyaluronic acid. This cream has provided me unparalleled relief in the gym. If you know me, you know that I'm always doing leg workouts, quads, hamstrings, calf. It is like the base of the pyramid, and I'm trying to get rid of these baby bird legs, but that leaves me with incredibly sore muscles. So even a small amount massaged into my legs, it's non-greasy, it's very quick to absorb, and you feel it for a few hours. You can use this up to 3 times a day, post-workout soreness, or just for everyday fatigue. The biggest thing I love about Silver Biotics is they give a 30% discount to the Beautifully Broken audience. You are getting this stuff at cost. So to keep moving strong and keep moving, try Silver Biotics Recover. I love it. You can use code Beautifully Broken in the cart, and let's rock and roll. Friends, I want to talk to you about the best snack I've ever had from House of Macadamias. Mainly their chocolate bar, but we're going to go on to why they're so good. So unlike peanuts and almonds, which can be high in inflammatory substances, macadamia nuts are packed with a heart-healthy monosaturated fat. More than any other nut, even than avocados, they have 33% fewer carbs than almonds and 50% fewer than cashews. They boast the best omega-6 to 3 ratio, and they have extremely low levels of lectins and phytic acid. This is very important for anybody struggling with autoimmunity. It is the only nut with the rare omega-7 for reduced inflammation and natural collagen production promotion. So it's no surprise that people like Tim Ferriss and Andrew Huberman are raving about this product. So for a limited time, you can subscribe to the Beautifully Broken bundle, the Freddie Kimmel bundle. You get 15% off, and you get a free month of macadamia milk worth $20 with every single delivery. This is a 1-ingredient milk. I mix it with my coffee. It's incredible, and it's free from any inflammatory additives. So you can visit the link in the show notes. They are on the beautifullybroken.world page, or you can use code beautifullybroken, and you're going to elevate your snacking behavior with House of Macadamias. I absolutely love it. Just be careful. It's hard to stop once you start. Big love.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's show, head over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and please leave us a review. 5 stars if you loved it. And before you leave, there is one big way you can continue the learning and the deepening of this relationship we started in this very episode. You can go to beautifullybroken.world and check out our brand new website store. Listed are all the wellness technologies, the supplements, the educational courses that I love and I personally use. Most of them offer significant discounts just by using the link or the discount code, which is normally Beautifully Broken, and they do support the podcast through affiliations. Now, we have a brand new feature. If you want to see the beautiful faces of our guests and watch me unbox and review products, you can head over to our new YouTube channel, Beautifully Broken World. I do have to tell you, our OnlyFans page is under construction, so stand by for that. This last announcement is from my vast team of internet lawyers. The information on this podcast is for educational purposes only. By listening, you agree not to use the information found here as medical advice to treat any medical condition in yourself or others, and you're always going to consult your physician for any medical issues that you may be having. My closing. The world is shifting. We need you at your very best. So please take the steps to always be upgrading. Remember, while life can be painful, putting the pieces back together is a beautiful process. I love ya. I'm your host, Freddie Kimmel. Big love.